Now, we are in week 6 of this coronavirus crisis. If you're feeling zero energy, totally overwhelmed right now, just at the thought about doing anything these days, you apparently are not alone. How can you tackle your day and also have a better outlook during these times?
Yeah, a lot of people just still struggling. It just continues. And here to help us with some great advice is licensed marriage and family therapist Lisa Lichtenstein. We want to thank you once again for joining us. We love to have you here and give us our little therapy session.
Need it.
The question is, you suggest something called emotional gym workout. An emotional gym workout. What does that mean, and how can we build up emotional strength?
Right. So I like to think of therapy, and especially this era that we're facing where we're all turning inward, is to expect that we're all going to have certain emotions. Obviously, there's a collective sort of world experience of anxiety, of fear, of uncertainty. And so you can turn inward and face your emotions. You could even imagine once a day just facing it. You can even schedule it and look at it, face to face. Say I'm, for example, anxious because of XYZ. Examine all the different feelings that you might be experiencing, and then notice it. You don't have to label or judge it, and then you can move on to your next task. So basically, just like flexing, barbells for a physical workout, when we face our emotion, notice it, accept it without judgment, we're able to build tolerance and acceptance rather than running away or turning away.
I like that it's also a specific time. You're forcing yourself to do it at that time. That's smart. There's so many things, sometimes small things too, while we are quarantined. You feel overwhelmed if you're just like, I have to cook dinner once again, or, on top of everything else that you're doing.
Right.
Do you have any advice for people who might be feeling overwhelmed at this point in week 6, just trying to make things work?
Absolutely. I would say that, like I've talked a little bit before, routines work really well. But when any of us are feeling really overwhelmed or any kind of emotion that's very intense, it's not really a good time to make a big decision. So, for example, there's 2 different parts of our brain. So if you can see my fist here. So if this part's the emotional part of the brain and this part's the intellectual. If we're feeling any intense emotion above, let's say, a 7 from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest emotion intensity, you don't really want to make a decision then, because if we're feeling hugely emotional, this emotional part of the brain can sort of hijack the intellectual part and make it really hard to make a good decision. So instead, you want to calm down, let the emotion kind of dissipate, and then you can make a good decision. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and it's an important decision, give yourself a little time to breathe and calm down emotionally. And then you can have capacity to be able to really figure out what rationally is the best strategy.
These are really good practical tips.
I know, but you don't think about when you're stressing out.
No,
so
you
it helps
don't.
to actually hear it come from you telling us to do this, Lisa. We really appreciate it.
Lisa Lichtenstein, thank you so much for joining us once again. Our lesson for this Thursday. We appreciate it.
Okay, I feel better now every time we have her on.